Hey, what's going on, y'all? Look like we officially live. Hope everyone is having an amazing evening, day, wherever you're at in the world. Got another very important, special Instagram live coming. We're about to talk about wealth, and of course, as entrepreneurs, we make money, but a lot of us don't always know what to do with our money. So we have a financial expert coming on tonight to talk about that. Because what's going on? Because I'm going to call you tonight. Make sure you answer your phone. Seriously, we've been playing phone tag for like a month. So let's get this party started. I can't wait to have this conversation. This person been sharing so many gems online, like literally daily. So I just reached out like, hey, like, can we have a conversation? I want to send this, to my folks, to my clients as well, because entrepreneurs, we make a lot of money, but we don't always know what to do with our money, how to build wealth, how to protect wealth, and then pass it on to the next generation. So let me try to bring her up. There we go.
Hi,
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear
All right,
you.
good. How you doing today?
I'm doing great today. It's a busy day today. It's my son's birthday, so we're just wrapping up from that. But I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Well, yeah, I appreciate you coming on. So happy birthday to your son and happy birthday to you, because I know it was just your birthday the other day as well. So happy
Yes,
birthday to both of y'all.
thank you. You know what they say when you have kids and y'all birthday close together, it's one or the other. That's
Right.
it.
I already know my kids. So my birthday's in May. My kid's birthday, my daughter's birthday in January. My son's birthday in February. So we
That's
kind of spaced out. You know what I'm saying? But they hit me hard. Christmas, then my daughter's birthday, then my son's birthday. So I'll be broke for like 4 months. For real.
good.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Definitely don't want to take too much of your time since your son's birthday. I know you're busy as well. But, I always like to just have these conversations. Like I said before you got on, you've been sharing so many gems online, I know offline as well. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. But for those of you that, may not know who you are, if they came from my page or I'm sending it to my list as well, of course, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Siedah Garrett Guest, and I help entrepreneurs, business owners, and individuals build their wealth and establish generational wealth and a legacy. So that's what I do for most people. And just to give you a little bit more background about me, sorry, I got distracted there. So my background actually is in corporate strategy and business strategy. So I come from a corporate background and working with Fortune 100 CEOs and executives, helping them get from point A to point B. And so in doing that process, what I really realized, Ryan, was that as I was making all this money, I'm like, I have no idea what to do with the
Right,
money. That
right,
makes sense.
right, right.
And you get to a certain level where it's not just about putting money in your bank account, making sure you pay your bills on time. They were asking me questions about mutual funds and 401ks and I was just like, I don't know, Jesus. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I should put. And I remember there was a guy next to me. His name was Jay. He's literally a rocket scientist, like a literal rocket scientist.
Wow.
So I'm like, investing can't be as hard as rocket
Right,
science, right?
right, right,
So
right.
I'm like, what you put? I put down what Jay told me to put down, and even Jay was wrong. So, apparently investing is a little bit harder than rocket science. But, that really was the trigger for me to say, hey, I need to really learn about money because I'm at the point where nobody that was around me immediately could help me get to that next level. So I needed to start taking that into my own hands, right? My own responsibility. So one started learning about money. People started asking me, what are you doing? Because they see that it's working for me. And so I'm like, just teaching the people, you
Yeah,
know, telling them what to do. And then everybody came back at me mad. They was mad because they was like, you teaching us, but we can't go do it.
yeah.
And I think that's one of the most frustrating things is to know information and not be able to implement information. So I was like, okay, went on, became a fully licensed financial professional. My firm now has been in place for 10 years, a decade. coming up. So we cover everything from the basics of your insurances all the way up through your investing, retirement, estate planning, wills, trusts. We cover the whole gamut. So I'm just blessed to be able to educate people who need education, how I needed education, and also be able to help them implement solutions when they're ready for that next step.
I love that. And I definitely want to talk about all of that. Before we get there, I am curious, like, how did you even originally get into the space? You know, I know you said you worked in, corporate and business strategy and so forth. Like, did you always want to go this route? Did you want to growing up want to be something else? Did you just fall into it? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no. So I never wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Really?
Ever. It never crossed my mind. People always laugh when I say it. I'm like, it just never was a thing. I always associated entrepreneurship with being a struggling artist, right? I don't know why.
Yeah.
That was my view. I'm like, a CEO of a company, yes. Struggling artist, no. But like I said, it really found me, right? It really found me. It came from a need that I had. I needed to learn about money. So I started educating myself about it. And then you'll find that once you start doing something, you'll be surprised how many other people don't know what it is you're learning, or they need what it is you have. So when people was like, can you teach me? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
But then teaching without implementation or knowledge without action is pointless, right? So I was like, well, let me get licensed and let me actually start helping people. And so it really has just grown and transpired since then.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you broke that down. And feel free, if you want me to break down any funnel stuff. I know it's people from, your platform, your page as well. So if you got any funnel questions for me, like, I'm happy to share anything, if you want to know as well.
Funnels is like, I remember the first time, and listen, guys, if you're here for me and you are not following the Funnel Doctor, make sure you go ahead and click that little arrow and follow him, okay? Because we actually connected before this live.
Right. You can let people know how we first connected.
Right. So
you remember.
So the first time we connected was, was it during the pandemic? It might have been during the pandemic or right before.
I think it was literally like right before. I think it was like I was like 2020, so I think it was either February or March, right before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So I had an office right in Philadelphia, right outside Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area. Let me say that, in the Philadelphia area, and we would rent out our board space to people who need to have meetings or whatever. And so I remember you had rented the space. You came in, you like real quiet setup, and I was like, the Funnel Doctor, and it's crazy because at that point in time, I literally had no idea what a funnel was, and that was then, right? Funnels now, everybody like, oh, get a funnel, but you were funnels before
I was.
I didn't even know what a funnel was, but I'm like, hey, this guy is cool. I don't know, but he's a doctor. Like, let's do it. So that was our first time connecting. So to see everything come back around, again, is so important because nothing happens by mistake, right? And that's why I say to you guys, and I encourage you guys, always show up. Never waste a show up. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to connect with. And when you're working and you're in the trenches, right, because you were working, I was working, heads down, and then look, boom, here we are, like, oh, well, let's connect, right? But now you have proof. Now you got evidence because you see me working.
Right.
I see you working, right? You got somebody that can vouch for you. So never waste a show up, guys. Whatever you are doing, never waste a show up. Always show up your best.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because when I came, I definitely knew you about your business from when I first arrived. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, you was working, I was working. I was using this place. I think it was like a training, and I was took some meetings and stuff. And then I got comfortable. I think I want to book another hour or two, something like that. You know what I mean? So I just booked more time. And you were like, yeah, the Funnel Doc. You was like, I want to learn more about what you do. You know what I mean? And after that, that's when I figured Neo's a man or something like that. So like you said, it's just crazy to see full circle. But yeah, we definitely was in there just putting the work in.
Yep. And so people see it because they see it. Sometimes people see it and they're like, oh, I want this to happen overnight.
Right.
Success is not overnight. And even bigger than that, wealth is not overnight. And a lot of times my clients, that's what we're talking about tonight, right? Building generational wealth. It's not something that happens overnight. The faster you get something, the faster it leaves. I always tell people that growing up, I always say I learned about money in the streets first. And one thing I always saw with people with money in the streets is they made money fast and then they lost their money fast. And the top was a short blimp. It was a short blimp at the top, right? And so I said, I don't want to be like that with money. So when you're building wealth, when you're thinking about your money, don't get discouraged if you're not seeing it happen for you immediately, because the better, the more sturdier, the longer, the stronger the roots, the longer it's going to take. The longer it's going to take. But that's something that's going to last for a lifetime. And I'm telling y'all, we are going to be younger, a lot shorter than we are going to be older. And what I tell my clients, we're not trying to be no used to be's. Back in my day, I used to be.
Right,
no.
right. No, we're not doing
this
that.
is generational, okay? We're building generations here.
Yeah, I love that. So, yeah, let's break some of that down. So, what do you usually tell people, like, if they just start now? Like, what's the first thing, what's the first wealth building mechanism you should take? And then also for people that, like you said, I have a lot of clients as well, like they make a lot of money, either multiple 6 or 7 figures in the business, but they still don't know, like, what should they do? Should I just buy investment properties? Should I just put it all in my cash value insurance? Should I dump it all in my business? Like, what do you generally say is like your first step to getting, some of those assets?
Yeah, so everybody's first step, believe it or not, no matter where you are, everybody's first step is defining their goals. And I can't stress that enough. And so many people try to skip this step and then they wonder why they're stuck, right? This step is also the most challenging. When I sit down with my clients, I'm like, okay, so tell me about your financial goals. Let's look in the form of short-term goals, 1 to 3 years. Midterm, 3 to 7 years. Long-term, 7 to 10 years. What do you want to do? Most people are able to see the next 1 to 3 years. Very clear. But my clients who are successful, my clients who are wealthy, they have a unique ability to be able to see the future and work backwards. Yeah. So they can see and plan and think about 10 years, 20 years down the line. And they can do it with specificity. And that's the secret to it, right? You cannot be prolific if you are not specific. And so you really have to ask yourself, what are my financial goals? And a financial goal is not just debt, credit, buy a house, invest. A financial goal is anything that requires money. Anything that's going to require money is a financial goal. So that's traveling, that's making more money, that's paying for your kids' school, that's buying a car, that is eating healthy. If you want to change it, it's expensive to eat healthy.
It is.
Right? I just hired a nutritionist this year. I'm like, Jesus, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's an investment into you. Mentorship, coaching, all of those are financial goals. So it's important to think about that, because if you don't know where you're going, it's easy for anybody to take you somewhere. And this is where you see people, the question you just asked me, I don't know, should I put it in cash value life insurance? Should I put it in real estate? Should I put it here? When people are scattered like that, it's because they're not clear on where they're going. And there's tons of shiny carrots. Yes. There's tons of shiny carrots. Like, you know this, you're the funnel doctor. Like, people say, how can I make money with a funnel? Online, right? You could do a webinar. People make tons of money doing webinars. But people also make tons of money doing challenges. People also, like, there's so many ways. Right. All work works if you work it. But you have to be clear on where you're trying to go. Otherwise, and you know this, I'm gonna start with the webinar, then I'm gonna go to the challenge, then I'm gonna try this. Not getting anywhere. And so we're trying to get our finances together, but we got our finances everywhere and we feel like we're getting nowhere. So your goals is the first step you got to define.
Yeah, I love how you broke that down, because that is really important, because it definitely depends on your goals and like what you are interested in, what you want to do. Because some people would, like you said, be real estate or cash value insurance, entrepreneurs. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to get in investment properties and be a landlord, but that's okay. But like you said, if you really don't define your goals, then you have no roadmap on what you should actually do. So if that makes sense, y'all, let me know. Drop something in the comments. Drop an emoji. I love it. Now I'm thinking of like what are all my goals as well? How you got me thinking like for real?
Yeah.
You know.
And you know too, especially for entrepreneurs, let me know if y'all an entrepreneur here. If you're an entrepreneur on here, let me know if you're an entrepreneur. Drop some fire signs in the chat. And if you are still working, which is totally okay, I really love my clients that have 9 to 5s. Go ahead and put like 9 to 5 in the chat just so we can see who we're talking to. Let us know. But for entrepreneurs and business owners, what I always tell people is that your business is not your retirement. And that's where we get it confused, right? It's like, all right, no, your business is a vehicle to get you to your end goal. That's not the end goal. Your job, okay, I see we got some mix. We got some entrepreneurs. We got some people working 9 to 5, blazing the corporate trail. It's all good either way. Your end goal is not your business. Your end goal, your destination is not your job. Those are simply vehicles that get you from one point to the other. So if you are trying to go from, I'm in Pennsylvania, so if you're trying to go from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, you may just need a car to get you from point A to point B. But if you want to go from Pennsylvania to Mars, you need a rocket ship. That's a little bit different. You see it? So for me, and let me tell you people, because I told y'all I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. It was never on my radar, ever. But what happened was my destination changed. And I realized that as my destination changed, I needed to change my vehicle. And in the vehicle that I was in, it was a great vehicle to get me from where I was to where I wanted to go. And I'll tell you, Ryan, it's funny. My first goals, that question I asked, like, what were your goals? I wanted to buy a 3-bedroom house in Germantown. This is the Germantown section of Philadelphia. These were my goals. 3-bedroom house in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. I wanted to buy a better car because I drove a 98 Nissan Altima Hoopty at the time, okay? I had to take my heel off and bang the battery. Mind y'all, I was making 6 figures, okay? That's what I talk about, being 6 figures and broke. And I wanted to put my daughter back in private school. Those were my goals. And I'm telling y'all, anything that requires money is a goal. Yeah. But you got to be real with yourself. But everybody is not always make $1 million, $1 billion. Like, what's your real goal? Because that's what you're going to hit. But anyway, those are my goals. My job helped me get there. That makes sense. But when the destination changed, when I started getting exposure, when I started seeing bigger, I said, oh, I can't get to restoring economic stability, which is our company's mission. I can't get there in this vehicle, which was my job. I need to change to something different. And that's where the change to entrepreneurship happens. So your business, whatever it is, your job, that's not the destination. You really got to get clear on that so you know which vehicle is going to help get you to where you want to go.
I love how you broke that down. Like, seriously. If y'all getting value out of that, like, please like the chat up, put some emojis, some gems, some fire emojis, something like that. Like, I love how you broke that down. I know you also do talk about insurance a lot, you know, life insurance and different types of insurance. So if you could just break that down a little bit. You know, I definitely see a lot of people with different schools of thought. You know, of course, get term first or whole life, cash value, IOUs or whatever they call IULs or whatever they call IOUs. IULs. That's how you know I'm not an insurance agent. But
that's hilarious.
People talk about, you know, mixed feelings on, like, you know, I was about to say IOUs again, IULs again. You know, you should get them or not get them and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on different types of insurance? How much should we be getting, protecting our kids, and so forth?
Yeah, insurance is such a broad field. It is such a broad field. I'm going to try to, in the time that we have, make it very simple. The best insurance you could ever have is the one that's there when you need it. Period. That's the best insurance you could ever have, is the one that is there when you need it. That's it. That's it. Now, you have different types of insurances, and none of them are right and none of them are wrong. Again, this is why I make my clients define their goals, because if you listen to the internet, everybody got an opinion out here.
Right, I
If
know.
you're listening to life insurance agents, they all have opinions out there. And that's because it really depends on the products that they have access to. You have to understand that not all agents have access to the same products. Not all agents are independent. Some are captive. Not all agents are fee-based. Some get paid off of commissions. So there's so many different motives around why somebody may say do one thing or the other. You know, if I work for Nike, right? If I work for Nike and you come in and you tell me you got short, chubby, flat feet, how I do, okay? And you need a comfortable shoe, no matter what you tell me, the only thing I'm going to tell you is get a Nike.
Get some Nikes, right?
Like, because that's all I have access to. That makes sense, y'all?
Yeah.
But if I work at a Foot Locker where I got Nikes, Reeboks, Adidas, Skechers, whoever, if you come in and tell me you got short, fat, flat feet, I don't really care what shoe you buy. I'm more likely to help you get whatever fits you because I have access to all of them. So you have to be mindful of the person that you're, one, taking the information from, but two, this is why you got to be clear on your goals, because they're all just different vehicles. So term insurance, let me break it down. Term insurance is really great for people who are on a budget. You can get a lot of insurance for cheap. I like to call it the Wendy's 4 for 4. Like, you can get a lot for cheap. And especially when you're young, you're not making as much money as you want to make. That's a great option for you, because if something happens to you today, your debt's getting paid off, your children are going to be taken care of, your house is going to be there. Like, you're going to be okay. I have term policies. Okay? I have term policies. Now, you have permanent life insurances. You have two types of permanent life insurances. You have whole life and you have universal lives. That's if you want insurance that's going to last for the duration of your life. So it's like buying a house. Costs you a little bit more to get into, but the same way you buy a house, you're buying it for the value, for the investment, for the appreciation. That's the same thing with whole life and in universal life. There's interest that can be accrued inside of those accounts, and you can use tons of different strategies between those two policies to have interest accrued. But it's the same way if you're buying a house, right? When you're buying term life insurance, that's like renting. So you just want the most amount of insurance for the least amount of money because you don't own it. It's temporary, right? I just need something that's going to be there. But when you buy a house, you're not trying to buy the cheapest house on the block.
Right.
You know, you're looking at school districts, you're looking at the property taxes, you're looking at the resale value. Like, there's so much more that goes into it. So if you're not taking that same consideration when you're buying a permanent life insurance policy, if you just going off what somebody said, then you're doing it wrong. You're missing the mark. You might live in a certain area. I bought my house because I said, well, I don't want to pay for private school. I told y'all I'm a strategist by trade, right? So I'm like, I don't want to pay for private school. Right. I want the best education. Now, I'd rather pay $6,000 in property taxes to be in the 7th best school district in the state than to buy a house that looks good on the, you know, all decked out on the inside, can't go outside. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
You know, and still got to pay for private school. That didn't make sense for me at that point in time. So that's why I purchased a house where I purchased the house. But now that we did that, right? It worked out for us. It's funny. My daughter's still in private school, which is crazy. So I'm like, okay, well, now we don't need to be here. That gives a little more flexibility to go somewhere else. The same thing that happens in your life insurance. None of them are right or wrong. It's just about where you are trying to go, and understanding that the person who's helping you, you want to ask certain questions. Are you a captive agent? That's an important question. Meaning, do they work just for one company? Do they only work for Nike, in our example? Because that means they're only going to give you what they have, right? So a lot of times people say just buy term. If they're really, if any agent is telling you just do this, run. First thing, okay? If they're saying just buy term, it's probably because they only have term life insurance products. That makes sense?
Yeah.
It's no way, like, it's no way you can be licensed. All these products are legal. All of these products are backed by billion-dollar companies, monitored by the state and the SEC, some of them at the federal level. None of them are bad. It's just what people have access to. If somebody is saying only get whole life, probably because they don't have other products. That makes sense? But that's really what it comes down to. The best insurance is insurance that is there when you need it. Term is really great if you are on a budget or if you want a lot of coverage. Like I said, I have term policies because I want a lot of coverage. While my kids are still young, I call it the get rich or die trying plan. I got 30 years to make this thing happen, and if I don't, they still gonna make it happen. You gonna read about them in the newspaper. That's it. We ain't playing no Powerball, no Mega Ball.
No.
That's on me. It's the get rich or die trying plan, you know. But that's what I want for my family. Why my kids are young. You may not want that for your family. That's okay. Term also can be converted. So if you starting out on a budget, but you start making more money later, you can lock in the lower cost of insurance and you can convert it later to a permanent policy. But people ain't going to tell you that. They're going to try to sell you something that you can't afford, and then you end up losing it because you couldn't afford it. Right? So there's two different ways you should do that. I think every entrepreneur should have a living benefits term policy. Every entrepreneur. It's literally access, and business owner and regular people, but especially entrepreneurs. Living benefits means that you can use the term while you're alive. So if you get any major critical, chronic, or terminal illness, you now got $1 million, $2 million that you can take to the bank. Otherwise, you're going to deplete your savings.
Right.
Trying to cover your medical expenses. If something happened to me, give me what they gave Magic Johnson.
Right.
I need that.
Right.
I want to be home as fast as Bronny James came home. Like,
right.
I want that. When you go into the hospital, what do they say? Do you have insurance?
Right.
Yeah, I got $2 million cash.
Right.
If you get cancer and you go to Cancer Center Treatment of America, they don't take insurance. You better have something. Ain't no GoFundMe trying to raise because I need a special treatment. No, I got $2 million. Like, there's so many benefits that people don't even talk about because the internet trying to sell you something crazy, right? But that's that. Anyway, I got tons of permanent policies too. Whole life is really good if you have large lump sums of money, in my opinion, because you get guarantees on that money. You're going to beat the bank and you can have access to the value faster. That's whole life. But whole life is very rigid. Once you set it, it's done. So if you set it at, I'm putting in $1,000 a month, it's $1,000 a month. If life get better for you and you want to do more, or if life changed for the worse and you want to do less, it's $1,000 a month.
Wow.
So you might jam yourself up there, right? Now there's different riders you can add on to it, and that's cool too, but you end up paying for all of that. Universal is really great for people who are still trying to build wealth because it's flexible. The word universal means flexible. So that means that you have flexibility in how much you put in every single month. When times are good, you can put more in. When times aren't good, pull back a little bit. You have flexibility in how you receive the death benefit. People don't realize that. In whole life policies, your family only is ever going to receive the death benefit. So if the death benefit is $100,000 and you have $50,000 worth of cash in that policy, when you pass away, your family's only getting $100,000. In universal life, you have the choice of keeping the death benefit plus the cash value. So if I have $100,000 death benefit and I have $50,000 of cash value, when I pass away, my family can get the $150,000. So it's really just about you. Universal it has the possibility to earn higher interest rates in there. So if you need to build wealth up, I got $1,000 a month I can put into this policy. I have a few $100 a month I can put into this policy because I don't have a large lump sum. That's great for you because you need more time and you need more interest. That's universal. You got large lump sums. You want to beat the bank. It's just sit in the bank. you want to beat the bank, you want to get some guarantees, whole life is probably recommended. I think everybody should have term to go along with those. But at the end of the day, don't be out here getting no GoFundMe. Because I'm be looking at y'all like
no, please, don't do it.
I'm be looking at y'all like that. Because y'all don't get all this information. There's tons of policies. It's an agent on every corner trying
literally.
to sell y'all something. Just buy
every
something.
corner of the internet, right.
I don't care what y'all buy. Buy something.
Right.
Just don't be out here with no GoFundMe on something you couldn't decide. Buy something and then figure it out.
Right. Yo, I love how you broke that down. Like, seriously, and it's just refreshing because, like you said, so many people on the internet, like, telling you one way. Or, like, you should just buy term, or you should just buy insurance, or only buy real estate, only buy multifamily. You know, I love how you broke it down. It's like, really depends on your goals, what you want to do, and what's best for your situation. Because everyone's situation is different. You know, some people, they don't mind living in the house that looks good on the inside, but you can't go outside. You know what I mean?
And
some
that's
people,
okay.
Right, exactly, right.
Like, that's what I'm trying to, and that's what I wish we could do more of. Like, as people, if we could stand more on our individual thoughts, on our individual values, on what's really important to us, we would be more happy. We would be more fulfilled. We would enjoy life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
We would enjoy life. Like, if you could work a 9 to 5 and be so excited. I tell people I did not hate my job. I didn't hate my job. I can't sit here and say I hated going to college. I can't say those things. Some people can, and that's okay. I can't say that. You know, if you want to buy a house that's in the city and like that's where you are at point, my friends have amazing houses in the city, and the inside has be bomb.
Right.
That's okay too. If you want to live in the suburbs, some of my friends live way out in the suburbs, and I be like, girl, it's y'all in the cornfield.
Right.
But if that's what you want, that's fine. I have friends in real estate that buy and hold. I have friends that flip. I have friends that simply do wholesale. Like, all work works. All work works. If you are consistent and you are getting to where, at the end of the day, as long as you get to the destination, that's the important part. As long as you get to the destination that you desire, that you want for your life, this is just a vehicle. We getting caught up on the vehicles, get to the destination.
Right, exactly.
I would hate to wake up 30 years from now, 20 years from now, like, I'm doing funnels and I don't even like technology.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the one thing that scared me from corporate. Why I was okay with walking away from a 6-figure career, because everybody had the same story.
Right.
It was all, I came here, I said I was gonna be here for 2 years, and then I looked up and 20 years later,
exactly. Right.
I'm like, I want to live my life on purpose. Like, I don't want the default.
Right.
I don't want the autopilot version of life. I want what Siedah always dreamed and imagined it would be. And I believe that I can have that. Because there's nothing that my God would show me that I cannot have. So that's what I want. I don't want to wake up on a default. And too many of us are on a default. You know, and we could go in this live crazy. Right. We on the default. Right. Get what you want from life. Get what's important for you and your family from life. When you're talking about generational wealth, that looks so many different ways for so many different people. And I love what the Rockefellers did. And I love what the Vanderbilts did. And I love, but y'all, is more families out there with generational wealth than just that. There's more than just those two families. And wealth is more than just money.
Facts.
It's more than just money. And I wish that in my work in our firm that we can quickly help you get over the money issues so you can really get the important stuff in life. You know what I mean? Like, I want to help y'all do the money stuff real fast so that we could really get to what matters. You know, we are supposed to use the money and love the people.
Right.
You know, that's What other questions you got while we
Right. No, listen, I'm soaking up the game as well. I'm like, listen, I think I might need to be a client too.
Come on, let's
Like, seriously, because there's so many gems, and then especially the last thing you said of like, wealth is way more than money. Because I know a lot of people that make a lot of money, but they don't get to spend time with their kids like that. Or they doing something they don't love to do, or they always got to be on the road, or you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot more to wealth and being happy and living a fulfilled life than just having a whole bunch of money in your bank account. So I love that. The last thing I do want you to break down, because I know you're busy, it's your son's birthday and so forth, is really the protection of the wealth. Because, you know what I'm saying, like you build up the wealth, you got your policies, you got your portfolios, you got your real estate or whatever, but we see so many people, not even just in the black community, but specifically in the black community, people are building up this wealth and then it goes to probate. Or you don't have your will in place, or you don't have a trust, you don't have your estate plan and so forth. So, you know, what do you do with your clients? What do you suggest? And how do we protect the wealth, not just for the second generation, but for multiple generations going forward?
Yeah, so we are not the first generation to make money.
Facts.
We are not the first generation to make money. And many of us have a story. We can look back and say, my grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, somebody in our family owned something. Land, businesses, homes, you name it. But yet, 80% of us have never benefited from any of that. That is because we were taught how to make money, how to work hard, but nobody ever taught us how to build. And building is to making sure that all the blocks, all the bricks that you have, the next generation can actually stand on. Because we keep starting at zero. If you had to work hard to buy your first house, your first car, take out student loans to go to college, your kids should not have to do that. They should be working on the next level of hard. If you're working hard right now to build a business and you're trying to get it from the ground up, your children should not have to do that, right? If you're working trying to get your first property, your first 100 doors, whatever the case, your children should not have to do that. Their level of hard should be the next level, meaning that they should focus on, instead of how to buy their first car, buy their first home, pay to go to college, they should be focused on, how do I now get a home that I can rent out during college.
Right,
like
exactly.
What's the next level? Instead of them, figuring out how they're going to start a business, they should be figuring out how they're going to take your business global, how they're going to get your business national. Like, what's the next level? And sometimes we think that if we leave people something, it's going to take away from the grit that we had to use to get it from the bottom, to get it out the mud. Let me tell y'all something. It's hard being a billionaire. Believe it or not. I know we think it's easy, that life's going to be better, but it's hard. It's hard being a billionaire. Life is hard, period. It's just new levels of hard.
Right.
We have to let the next generation struggle with the next level of hard. And we can't think that us leaving something is going to take away from something. No, they need all the bricks. I don't care if you got 1 brick, 2 brick, 3 bricks, whatever you built, whatever you have, it needs to be protected. Because imagine if you have a 1 brick to stand on. If I gave you $10,000 right now, would you be mad at me?
No. No, at all.
If by the way, I'm giving away at 8 o'clock, I'm doing my giveaway for over $10,000 worth of gifts, okay? But if I gave you $10,000 right now, you would not be mad at me.
No, at all.
If I gave you $1,000 right now, would you be mad at me?
No.
No. Like most of us would be like, thank you, I appreciate that. It can go somewhere. Same thing when we think about what it is we're leaving behind. I don't care if it's millions, billions, 1,000, it's yours. And somebody would appreciate that brick to stand on. And so when you're protecting your money, it starts now. It's not when I get the money. It's now. Because if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it later. Because we don't know what happens in the later. And the story I always tell about Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson had a will, he had a trust, he had his attorneys, account, he had all this stuff done, and they didn't put none of the stuff in the daggone trust. None of it. His estate is one of the highest grossing estates after death. $40 million a year. And the government is gladly taking a 40%. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know what Uncle Sam is.
Right.
I don't cookouts.
Right.
Never on the grill. And he definitely don't show up with the uncle sandals on. Like, right. I just don't know.
Yeah, he ain't
like, he's not my, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not working as hard to leave anything to him. And what happens is when we don't have a will, when we don't have power of attorneys, when we don't have trust in place, by default, we're giving it to him. And so we're not even exercising our choice. I don't care what it is. Just choose your family. Just choose somebody but him. Choose anybody. But when you don't have it, what you're saying is, I'd rather give it to him. I'd rather him have the real estate properties. Because 70% of all wealth is lost by the second generation.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
70% by the second generation. By the third generation, 90% of wealth is lost.
That's crazy.
Not because, and that's for everybody, but you know, statistics like that are even more exuberant in our communities.
Right, you already know. Right? Yep. So,
if we know these things, if we've seen these things, if we can be a testimony to say, yes, somebody did lose this, or my family did have that, and we don't have it, for us to sit here, be in a generation and a time where we can do is something as easy as turn on a phone and make thousands of dollars and not protect it, shame on us. Shame on us. Because we do all this talk, we want to be better than our parents. We're not going to be like this. We're not going to be like that. Truth of the matter, millennials, if you're a millennial here, I apologize. We are still on track financially to be worse off than our parents. We make more money, but when it comes to saving and building, we are worse off. So what point is it to make all this money and end up with nothing? That's nothing but ego. That's it. To say you was on a jet, to say you was on a yacht, to say you had bags, to say you had nothing to show for it. We have to start building, and we have to start protecting, and it has to become a priority for us, but also for those that come behind us. And we got to understand that there's the next level. Like, I was thinking about this, and then we gotta go. We took my son to an amusement park yesterday, and we were driving, and we seen like all these car dealerships, right? And so I'm always thinking, I'm like, dang, like, it's crazy. Like, there's no skills. You need no skills. You need no skills to sell a car.
Right.
There's no requirements to own like a car dealership.
Nope.
The fact of the matter is, most of them are owned by old white men.
Yeah. Facts.
Simply because they were allowed to. A whole industry, billion-dollar industry, owned by old white men, simply because they were allowed to. That's the only difference.
Only difference.
And there's so many things out there that, because of something you can't control, like the color of your skin, of wealth that we are so far behind.
Yeah. Right.
It has to be a priority due to small things. Like, this is small stuff. Insurance, small. I don't care which one, pick one. Okay? Will, trust, small stuff. Investing, small stuff. Real estate, small stuff. And so if we start to think about it like that, let's get the small stuff done so we can get to the big stuff.
Right, exactly.
I want to get to the big stuff together and faster. I don't care who you get your insurance from, that's small stuff. I want to get to the big stuff. And that's what we want to help you do. So let's, our goal is to help you overcome the small stuff, get this stuff going, so the next live we on, we talking about something, you know, crazy. Like I want to be like, dang, like I want to do something crazy. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. But this was so helpful. Thank you so much. Listen, guys, I know y'all are following the Funnel Doctor because funnels are so important. I just put my birthday sale, and we had to put a funnel together. And let me tell you, even with everything that I did right, I still jacked that bad boy up. Okay? I still jacked that bad boy up. I was up Saturday morning, my birthday, like, oh my gosh, it's not working. I'm trying to like go back in. I didn't get nobody's phone number in the funnel. I only got the emails in the funnel.
Yeah.
Call the Funnel Doctor.
Right.
Okay? Don't be like me. Don't be like me. I had to get my team off this whole week. I said, y'all work so hard. But I'm so excited because it's my first time ever doing paid PTO. And that just makes me feel like so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're a boss. Okay.
You know, let me give y'all some paid time
Right.
off. And listen, even with all the mistakes, we still made money. So if you're listening to me, you just gotta take the first step.
Right.
You can learn, make money, make mistakes all at the same time. Don't wait, but definitely make sure y'all call the Funnel Doctor. Okay? Because you don't gotta be doing the crazy stuff that I was doing.
Right. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you just coming on. I know you're busy. You have a lot going on. So lastly, of course, if someone wants to tap in with you, or they want to become a client, or they want to get one of your digital products that you have, of course, how can they do that?
Yeah. So actually, I'm still running my birthday sale. We extended it because we jacked it up. But that's good for you. It's good.
Right.
It is a heck of a benefit for you. So you can DM me. Just DM me the word B-Day, B-D-A-Y. Just DM me the word B-Day. You can still get that. You're getting over 13 hours of learning, education, everything from the basics of saving, budgeting, stocks, investing, insurance, wills, trust, starting a business plan. You getting all my stuff. Over I think it's like 13 books and guides and courses that you're getting, calculators. You want to learn how to get out of debt. You want to learn how to get better with tracking your money. So many things are in there. Bonuses. I'm giving y'all like planners, everything. And the best part is we didn't take this off yet, but if you still want to work with me, okay, see, I see you, Amira. I got you, girl. If you want the opportunity to work with me, maybe you do need a legacy plan. You want to get your trust, your will, so forth in order. That is 50% off when you get the birthday bundle.
Wow, that's amazing.
If you want to do a financial plan where it's like, I really need to figure out where I am going, how all of the pieces actually work together, you can get your financial plan for 50% off if you get the bundle. So just DM me the word B-Day. That's all you got to do.
Drop B-Day right now. DM her the word B-Day right now. I think I'm going to do it myself.
It's there until Thursday because I'm going on vacation. And I gave my team off and I said, we'll deal with it when we come back. So y'all got until Thursday to run it up. Okay?
All right. So make sure y'all DM her the word B-Day. Like I said, thank you so much for coming on, dropping so many gems.
Cecilia, you gotta DM me, Cecilia. Okay? Don't comment here.
Dude, DM her B-Day. Next time we're going to set the funnel up where if you comment, you're going to get it too.
I didn't know if it worked. I have it set up, but I didn't know if it worked when you're live.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably don't. Yeah, it probably don't.
No,
yeah.
But DM me. But thank you so much. This was so awesome. I'm so excited that we get to reconnect. I'm glad to be in spaces with people who are doing the work and seeing your journey and just connecting with you. And sometimes it don't take, you can see somebody and just be like, I see you.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad that I see you. I'm so glad to be in your circle and to be in your spaces. Keep doing the work that you are doing because you've been out here. I will tell you that you have been out here doing it, and I want to see you win, and I want to see you grow, and I just want all the best for you because you support people, and I really pray that you get all that support in return.
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to talk a lot more offline. I'm going to need some financial stuff from you as well. So, we're going to talk more. I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
All right, see ya. Bye.